Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Zoned.Live. It's very rare that I see myself jumping into an early access game. In fact, with the exclusion of... I can't actually recall one, unless you count a WoW expansion. So when Nye introduced me to Iron Gate's Valheim, I was initially very skeptical. However, I'm glad to say that so far, my skepticism was greatly misplaced. Valheim is a multiplayer open-world survival crafting game. At first glance, even I wasn't too enticed to play due to a seeming lack of polish. However, a few hours into the game I realized that lack of polish hardly describes Valheim at all. In fact, I'd even go far enough as saying that this early access game has more polish behind the scenes than a lot of AAA titles. The systems implemented are not just in depth, but also the developers clearly know how to play with the gamer's curiosity. More on that later. Most games of a similar nature, and I've tried my hand at the majority, be it Ark, The Forest, Conan, Minecraft, tend to fall short with many aspects. The crafting may be good, but the combat is very lackluster. Or all different aspects of the game just pass as mediocre. So far, the majority of gripes I, or rather we, here at ZonedLive have with the game are better described as nitpicks. It works, and not in a Todd Howard,
it just works,
so we'll release it and let you guys finish the job. I mean, it really works, despite it still being in early access.
Hey, you don't know me.
But those who do know me a bit more intimately know I love crafting things. I have a penchant for using my hands. Keep your mind out of the gutter. And when it comes to video games, ones where I can construct something are often at the top of my list. The reason Valheim stands atop these is its logical processes. Understanding that simplicity is key is, well, key here. It's not uncommon for a game to have you find overtly obscure mats for something simple, like an arrow, just to have you run out of them in no time, for the sake of false complexity. Valheim offers a level of complexity that other games would overlook by being simple. The idea that putting a fireplace inside without a chimney will damage your health is brilliant, made even more brilliant by the fact that you can actually funnel the smoke out with structures you make yourself. It's the small yet massively impactful things that make it no surprise that Valheim has exploded in popularity in the few weeks since its early access release. But it's not just the crafting that makes this game brilliant. This game is designed in such a way that going out for resources is very much an adventure. Exploration is mandatory for progression. You don't just have a hench list of items from the get-go. You aren't just thrown into a world with the only task being to find the materials you need to make something you think is cool. You need to find materials in order to learn what you can craft. This in itself encourages exploration and hunting. Our team would more often than not find ourselves thinking, what can we craft if we kill that monster? Or, what items will that landmass over yonder give us? Piquing this curiosity is what gaming should be all about. And we've, for the first time in years, found ourselves not wanting to go online and check a guide or cheat for answers. The reward is very much the surprise. Speaking of exploration, allow me to paint a picture for you. So Nye, Camnose and myself had just finished crafting our bronze armors and decided it was about time to cross the ocean to reach a new landmass and fight the boss that we had unlocked the location for. Realizing that rafts suck poop, we opted to craft a boat. However, we found ourselves not exactly favoured by the wind, although this was not a complete loss. As our boat weathered the storm, literally, to our west we sighted another landmass with giant and unknown trees. Of course, being the daring adventurers that we are, we couldn't help but want to explore. That was a mistake. Almost immediately upon landing, we were assailed by leeches in the water, blobs on land and large skeletal creatures that we now identified as Draugr, firing poison arrows at us. Instantly I saw my health dip to 0. Shortly followed by Nye and Cam. We were not strong enough for that area in the least. Obviously, having lost all of our latest gear, we were kind of shoehorned into spending the next half an hour attempting to sail back to the island on a raft with pathetic gear to recover what we had lost. The rescue mission in itself proved to be just as, if not more than fun than the initial fail. This unscripted adventure is one of the things that makes Valheim great. You can have a procedurally generated world, but if nothing happens, Minecraft, then what's the point of the randomness? If peril never springs on top of you, then what's the point in the adventure? Two more things I'd like to touch on before this video drags. I'm aware that your bowels might start falling out of your body if you sit on the toilet for too long. Are the multiplayer and the developer feedback. The multiplayer works in a similar way to similar games. You have a seed, world. When you log in, you have the choice of hosting a friend or community server. This is nothing unusual, but having the option to jump into a world with one of your characters, keeping all the progression made in your own world, is no short of genius. No one wants to make a new character every time they jump into a world. The one thing that I think lets this down, however, is the lack of minor tweaks. For example, allowing just my friends to see me on the map in a community server would be awesome for group PvP. Speaking of PvP, PvP flags being able to automatically switch. If I've turned PvP on, people shouldn't be able to hit me unless they've turned it on as well, or the second they do, they should also be flagged for PvP. Also, as you are able to log out and hold onto the items into your inventory, this enables a bit of an exploit from world to world. I myself did capitalize on this exploit, jumping into public realms only to steal some items, log out and then use them to upgrade my own bases. However, leading into a bit more praise, I wouldn't be surprised if we see these minor things ironed out. The developers seem very keen on getting further ideas from the community and are really listening to feedback, something most developers fail to do, and when they do, they tend to listen to the wrong people. Iron Gate Studios truly have come out of nowhere with a masterpiece. To summarize, if you haven't jumped on Valheim already, make sure you do. Even if survival crafting isn't your thing, after playing this it probably will be. I just can't wait for some graphical enhancements to make the models match the amazing lighting and atmosphere that the game offers. Valheim is definitely one to pay attention to. If you do, or already have jumped onto Valheim, we at ZonedLive have a Discord server and will be hosting public servers for people playing the game, and it would be great to see you there. Thanks for watching. As usual, leave a like if you liked the video and drop a comment with your opinion on Valheim down below. Also, we'll be releasing a full review when the game gets its full release, as well as streaming it on Twitch, so keep an eye on this space by subscribing and catch us on Twitch to watch hilarity ensue. Thanks for watching, peace!